Hi everybody. As you all know, I'm Catherine Turcer from the Ohio Campaign for Accountable Redistricting, or Ohio Citizen Action, which is a joint project of the League of Women Voters, Ohio Citizen Action, and we have 25 other groups that are also with us on this important campaign. You know, during this year we did the redistricting competition, and we spent a lot of time doing analysis, analysis of the maps, thinking what the analysis would be. And so this is a follow-up to what we actually have so that we can go through and look at what the maps are like. Now I kind of laughed because I realized that I sound a little Lauren Bacall or Kathleen Turner today. So sorry about my voice, and I'll try to keep my comments kind of limited. A lot of this stuff is actually written down. So what I would encourage you to do is to pull up, there are two different portions. There's the analysis that looks like this, and then you have this overview, and that way you can look at them actually at the same time. It makes it easy. That'll be kind of on the left side of your program. So since Bill Cohen is here, I will quote Bob Dylan. You don't actually need a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing, and really all you need to really do is to look at this map and know that there's some significant problems. On the other hand, we all like watching the 6 p.m. news to find out what's going to actually happen the next day. We like talking about the weather. So let's go through this process and look a little bit at the maps. And I'm going to hand it off to my wonderful colleagues as soon as I've gone through a few of the major points. I think the first point about House Bill 364 that I think we all know is that the process was terrible. We know that once again, voters were left out, in the cold. This was a backroom deal. It was a sweetheart deal. Democrats and Republicans coming together. Maybe some of the Democrats plugged their noses, but this was the kind of sweetheart deal that really had nothing to do with the voters of Ohio. And so, this map is actually eliminates much good competition. It eliminates much of the ability to hold politicians accountable. And so the analysis kind of goes through the stats. And so I think the first thing that we need to think about is the Democrats are really packed together. If you just completely packed together, and because they're packed together, voters in that district will find it nearly impossible to hold them accountable during general elections. And welcome. Then all you have to do is look at the Republican majorities, which are not as extreme, but once again, you have this lack of competition. There are no highly competitive districts. Think of it like, there are no districts that there's like that 5-point range, which are truly the competitive ones. Those, what you think of as those nail biters. There are some that are generally competitive. There are 3 generally competitive districts. Now, one of the things that we wanted to do was kind of compare and contrast that to what were the possibilities when it came to the citizens and citizens' maps. And all you have to do is look at Mike Fortner's map. He's that Illinois representative and physics professor. He's a Republican. He was actually from West Chicago, and he managed to actually draw 11 highly competitive districts. 11 of them, where we have none. And so I'd like to highlight that. On the second page, I'd like to talk a little bit about just this failure to respect community boundaries. I think we all know that. All you have to do is look at that strip that works its way from Lucas County all the way over to Cuyahoga County and say, whose backyard does that go from? Oh, all right, that's the Kucinich captor. I mean, this is not, once again, you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind is blowing. On the other hand, it's very important to think about a total of 54 splits. 54. Now, we had 44 in the last map, so the 2002-2010. So there are actually 10 more splits. And then some of our counties, 7 of the counties, are actually split up more than 3 times. Now, of course, compactness is a problem. And then, as we start to talk about kind of the unfairness of this, 12 of the 16 districts, if you think of it, 75%, will likely be represented by Republicans. even though statewide there's nearly an even split between Democrats and Republicans. And so that gives you an overview of these. I would like to highlight that our partisan index was based on using the 2008 presidential, 2010 governor, auditor, and secretary of state. And I'm going to hand it over to Dan Tokaji,